Games. Board games at Spiel, it's what I'm talking about. I'm back and I'm still real, but I'm not gonna shout. Now, how do I feel? That's what I'll talk about. How was the first few days of Spiel? And I'm not gonna shout. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. It is, I want to say 10 a.m. is UK time, but it's actually 10:40. Starting tomorrow, I will get back on track. I will be streaming at basically 10 a.m. plus or minus a couple of minutes tomorrow. I'm allowing myself this. Anyway, let's talk about Spiel. Spiel was brilliant. It's been lovely. It's been super good. And that's the topic of today. So I guess I'm kind of talking about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. Before I get into going through all the photos and talking about the traveling on the Tuesday, being there on the Wednesday and seeing people, which was fantastic, seeing all the stalls being built up, playing a few new games. I played more games before Spiel actually started than I typically play in the entire convention. And that rate of playing games did not slow down. I played so much, it was brilliant. Yesterday, coming back with Alan and Charlie, I just want to talk quickly about yesterday. It was a lovely day. Basically driving in the car, having a lovely dinner together, brought some games. I bought one single game, got given a whole bunch of stuff. I also brought back a whole lot of food, some of it from petrol stations. I've got the memories. I've got beside me a Biffy pizza. Let me pop it over from beside me. And we've got the Biffy pizza. So this Biffy is kind of like pepperami, and it was disappointingly thick, the dough here. I don't think I would have the Biffy pizza again, but I wouldn't even have a chance until probably next year. So I'm glad I got to go of it. And my review of it's not actually Biffy pizza, it's Biffy Carazza. Biffy Carazza, I give it 3 out of 10. Anyway, lovely spiel. Let's talk about that. Let's also talk about brilliant things. What's a little thing which is brilliant? Because whilst I go there because of the games, and I initially went because, I love board games, I love playing with people, and of course it's about the people. It's about coming together with this shared passion. Other gamers. Is there a gaming community? No, I don't think there is, but there is definitely a bunch of different people who enjoy it, and you go along and you say, hello, how are you? And you develop little clusters. I know Rob, and because I know Rob, I know Dave Wetherall, and the two of them will always be together. And it's like, I see one, I see the other. Now, Rob is being published by Gavin, and because I kind of know the two of them now, that deepens my connection with the two of them. And of course, that's a lovely thing with people and deepening that relationships and that, entangled web of knowing each other. And it would be lovely to have chatted to more of these people. But today, what I want to talk about is food and trying food that is new to you, trying new things and enjoying the fact that you go along and you have food that can only be bought in a particular place. And that's why I'm really glad that he took these Tunnocks caramel wafers to give to people. And I actually think that next year I would take double the amount. I took 40 of them, and that was probably not enough because definitely so many times I thought, well, I'd like to give some to you, but I just don't have enough. And I think that next year I will take 10 packs by which I mean 80 bars, and that seems like a good number. And so, yes, food, sharing the joy of taste is such an important thing. Something that. Now, let me get to the main topic. We went there, I went there, Alan and Charlie, driving together. It was it was fine. Um, Weird toilets graffiti, people celebrating Paris. We played a couple of games. We played a game about stuffing balloons as a team without talking. There are no, but it's a card game. There are no actual balloons. And played a game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures to pictures. A couple of my things, and playing Thunderbirds. Obviously enjoying the time on the ferry, enjoying the travel, enjoying a little bit of conversation before the long journey, the dawn, German architecture. Sorry for these terrible photos, they were all taken from inside the car. European graffiti, and making our way down through the. This is actually quite a cool service station. It's got fun architecture, and you get actual Belgian chocolates in Belgium with this banana thing, which I got it because it was unusual, and I have to admit, it was a little bit overly sweet for my taste. But I'm still glad I tried it, and yeah, even in talking about food and trying new tastes, going to a service station where it's basically a petrol station, but I still get to try these new things. The bottom one, the cheesy thing, that was all right. The top one, a bit of vegetables, a bit of noodles, that was super lovely. And hello, Leifta, it was lovely so much to meet you as well. Thank you for coming by, and yeah, thank you for coming over. That was honestly the highlight. People who were coming over specifically to say hello and then meeting people. And yes, I hope you had a wonderful lesson. What was your highlights? I'm just going through my first few days up until the end of Friday because I realized while I was uploading photos this morning, it would be too much to share everything. But I mean, I love street art. This graffiti, I don't know if it was a mural that was paid for or someone who just decided to do this lovely thing, but I love this, and it's kinds of joyous doodles and so much going on. This actually really, and I would love to do art like this someday. And I say someday, I mean, I am going to do art like this someday. Talking of street art, this giant elephant, it literally lit up, and it was made out of weird plastic bottles and plastic tubing. We met Matt Fantastic and Alex and John Ritter of Kickstarter on the street walking over to Tacos, which is a German style of, and so I had a pizza, a Diablo pizza, which is a German take on an Italian style, American style Mexican food. It was really weird. So they also sell burritos and tacos, and this is kind of like Mexican taco shell with chili con carne on top, and then cheese with Italian herbs. It was a really super weird fusion. And of course, I had this half-liter of beer, which I couldn't even finish. The chips were the best chips ever. And the end of the Wednesday, beautiful lights, pretty lights, decorating the town, and this weird, slightly sacrilegious thing. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that Germans would be encouraging people to basically take selfies while they pose as angels. But there you go. And of course, a German bakery. Leafda says, meeting people is the highlight. I brought only 2 new games home, Insecta and Sea Salt and Paper. I'm not familiar with either of those games, to be honest. This is a thing that I'll get into. There were so many new games. I mean, I could have probably spent, I'm not exaggerating, 2 months there. Yeah, I'm just going to say that. Like, if I was, in a Groundhog Day style scenario, and it was, let's say, Thursday, I mean, Wednesday you don't get to play any games because it's not officially well, you get to play some games, but it's not officially open yet. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so I could have repeated that in a Groundhog Day scenario for like several months and just kept playing new to me games. I mean, there were so many, and oh my gosh, it was wow. Did I have a schnitzel? That's meat covered in breadcrumbs, right? I think I did have a leftover schnitzel. I will get into that. No, wait, I won't get into that today because I was at the Gamma event. Um, there were schnitzels at the Gamma event. I didn't have any then, but I did pack up some stuff and I ate it on the ferry on Sunday. But yes, I didn't have as much German stuff as you might think. And talking about new games, I bought one thing, and I think I've got one, two, three, four, five, six. I've got like about seven things. One of them I actually paid for about 5 years ago, and the others were given as gifts. Two of them I actually asked for, and the others people were like, "Oh, here's the game I made. Please have it." And that's just such a lovely thing. I didn't do any swapsies this year, but yeah. So this is Wednesday. I went in a bit later than I wanted. I made sure to send out my mailing list. I'm really glad I did because I got at least a couple of people saying, okay, I knew about your 2 p.m. event because of your mailing list. And it's really important for me to, I mean, given that I have this mailing list, I feel like I should be sending out emails more often. And hello to me, it is lovely to see you. Oh my gosh, what time is it over there? Like 6, 7? Are you still up? Are you still not gone to bed? I hope you're generally okay. Um, yeah, but 6:51, so it is almost 7 a.m. in Nova Scotia. Actually, I met someone who was from Nova Scotia, at least one person. I don't ask where everyone's from, but lots of love. So Wednesday, at Essen Spiel, the biggest convention in the world. It's fairly quiet. I mean, there's exhibitors there. It's not open to the public yet, but it still has this buzz. It still feels a little bit busy. I met Lionel and other people at Hachette UK. It's I don't feel as connected to Gigamic as I used to when they just published in 2017 or 2019 when they just published me, which is slightly sad. Like they had a party on Saturday and they never told me, which was a bit sad about. But you know, Yogi isn't their main focus right now. It's not their big thing. But hopefully we'll be able to work a bit more together. Obviously, there's packing material that darted all around. You can see ludicreations, like all sorts of stuff going on. And outside in the courtyard, a bit of sun. There's like lots of places which are already looking really good. I mean, major architecture, major stuff up there. And then you wander around and you get excited by all these things. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm excited to try this. And I actually got to play Ricky Tata's new game, which is called Rankster. Ricky Tata, best known for Coup, and I don't know what part of the Scotia. I'm sorry, I can't tell you. Sorry about that, Timmy. But yeah, Ricky Tata, who's on the left, is the designer of the board game called Coup. You might have heard of that. The person second from the left is Travis Worthington, the owner of Indie Boards and Cards, which was a lovely person, and maybe one day we'll get a chance to work together. And going left to right, that's Ricky, Travis, Mark, and Nick Pittman. So Mark and Nick are friends from Glasgow, super lovely people. It was lovely to see them. And here we've also got Grisha. So Rankster, it's all about a whole bunch of names, trying to rank them according to how much you'd like to go on a who would you rather go on a camping trip with between Cleopatra, Charles de Gaulle, David Beckham, and Kermit the Frog? Who would you like to go on a camping trip with? And then one person ranks them all. Everyone else picks, you know, which order those four people were in, and it just occurs to me that this could actually work fairly well even on stream. So let's say Cleopatra, David Beckham, Charles de Gaulle, and Kermit the Frog. Okay, in my mind, I've got a rank, and Kermit, Cleopatra, Charles de Gaulle, David Beckham. Who do you think I would prefer to go on a camping trip with in a 1, 2, 3, 4 order? And I'll give you a minute to make that decision. Please write your answers. And hello, Yoda. I remember meeting you very briefly, and Yoda says, so people from Glasgow are called Glaswegians and not Glasgowians? Yes, 100%. Glaswegians is the correct term, and if you're from Glasgow, you might even call yourself a Ouija for short. Not to be confused with a wedgie, which is a completely different thing, which is invented by Americans, where you pull up the underwear. But a Ouija is short for Ouijan, Glaswegian. Yeah. And people from Halifax apparently are Haligonians. But yes, don't know. Kermit the Frog, Charles de Gaulle, David Beckham, Cleopatra. Any ideas? And what happens? It's a cooperative game. You would guess my rank, and if we are completely correct with all four of them, then was it 3 or 4 that names that we played? I can't quite remember. Yeah, I can't remember now. But the point is that if everyone else is correct, then the team gets the point. If everyone else is wrong, then the team gets a negative point. And if your final score is positive, then you win. And that's the entire game. It's a super lovely thing. I would heartily recommend it. Yes, it was only the 3 people. And for the record, my rank is Kermit the Frog would be super fun to be with, then Cleopatra, and then I would go David Beckham and then Charles de Gaulle, I think. That's what I am thinking personally. Anyway, so yeah, lots of Here's Heat by Days of Wonder. It's their big game of the year. Obviously, nice props in order to show it off. There's people already playing in order to learn the game. Lots of people don't get the game ahead of time. And the first time that they can actually see the game finished before they demonstrate it the following day is on Wednesday. So they've basically got a few hours on Wednesday to learn the game. And that's why Asmodee often gets the team to come in early. And sometimes people just get a couple of hours in the morning, which is really not enough. Yu-Gi-Oh! It had this throne and this, the Geek and Sun. This was obviously going to be elevated and above everything. I did meet some people. So here's Zigar, Sia, and Mike, and like lovely people. And the Galleria, it's got like this natural light coming in, a nice bit of stained glass at the end. You used to be able to go outside, but then we're like, no fresh air, no park time for you, which is slightly sad. This steam airship, there's, again, things aren't open, but it was still lovely to see. And this is where I was. So you can see my name. Color My Critters, a wonderful, how shall I put it, deck building made as simple as possible. It was super lovely. I played it. It was a joy to play. I would happily play quite a few games of it. Heartstrings, I've not played yet. I got given a copy of it. I might play it tonight and let you know what I think in the near future. And there's my name on the bottom. And of course, again, people were already setting up. It was lovely to see these folks, and that's what I looked like on that day. This was me wearing less red than usual, but because I was wearing gold, so purple and yellow and white. It was one of my creatures on my t-shirts. I also saw a couple of chess games about combining pieces. We had piece chess, where you're combining pieces with your opponents, and you want to combine with your king to win. And in either person, so it's not really piece. So it's kind of, yeah. But it's an interesting idea. And then someone else has this chess variant where you combine your own pieces, and then your own pieces move like either of those 2 pieces you want, which is also super interesting. And I really like this idea of having a banner that tells you all the rules on a banner. I think this is super awesome. and I'm probably going to steal this idea. I mean, it's not like it was just him, but a lot of people did the same. There was Dave from the rathole.ca, a reviewer. There was an area where you could, a relatively small area where you could put the spiel. They had the prizes, and so it was like, hey, try this, try that. We're going to put forward the best games in our opinion. It wasn't given as much limelight as the awards at Cannes, I would say. Like Cannes, you go there and it's really pushing everything to the forefront and saying, hey, these are some great games, try them all. Here it's a relatively small area, especially considering that Essen is a much bigger venue. Um, Little cute robots in front of this shop, and mead. Mead is super important. Like every year I go and I try all the tried games, so much to see. If you, by the way, if you've got any questions about any of these things, I'm not able. I don't believe that. Like I know all these games intimately just because I have them up. This roulette wheel looked exciting. Here's some minis, and I was actually quite excited just by the carpeting that some people had. Some people had really awesome stuff. Um, yeah, with hello again. I'm very sorry about that. It turns out that yeah, it's having some sort of internet problems. I've switched to my mobile phone, and which is really not great. And I'm just going to temporarily see if I can um switch my browser. This is the, you know, if you wanted perfect stuff, I guess it would be all about the pre-recorded stuff. But this, hopefully we get a bit of connection. And I do apologize if there were any comments that you posted in the last 2 minutes, then I didn't see them. And I think that's me back on the laptop. Hopefully that's working. And once more, apologies. But So anyway, as I was saying, Wednesday was super lovely, just wandering around and checking out what was there and seeing. Thank you for the confirmation. I appreciate that, Leifta. Um, am I allowed to use your real name now that we've met each other? I mean, some people have their real name is kind of private, but let me know if that's the case for you. Anyway, there was lovely stuff. Everything was clearly still under construction, but you could go around. Okay, great. So, yes, Wendy, again, thank you for coming over. And it was interesting seeing these big screens. I'm not going to lie, the first time I saw it was, oh, that's fun, that's exciting. But as I walked past them again and again, they did get a bit obnoxious, not going to lie. Um, Everything was wonderful to see. And wandering around, I also saw Ian Paravel, and there's Ian Paravel of Board Game Arena on the left, and like people from also working for Happy Boabab, and we arranged a meeting for the Sunday, which was super awesome. Um, and the meeting on, by the way, I think I'm allowed to say that. People that I knew before, so from left to right, that's Sai from Camden Games, then Dina, who's been on the show many times before, Stella from Maple University, and Frank West, who's also been on the show, and so many people. It's lovely wandering around. There's T, um, One Tar, T Cares, and there's Martin Wallace and Dave Digby and Mike Nudd wandering around, and there's Vagard, who I, uh, because of Vagard, I had stuff kind of for sale. Wandering around, this is the best bit for the Wednesday, when yes, you've actually got time to chat to these people for a minute. I had time to play games. Um, I played two of the upcoming games from Camden Games. This one, you place stuff and then you place cards simultaneously, then you roll dice and you want your dice to be the highest number, but you can only choose the biggest dice like once. But then if you choose the same dice as someone else, then you have a dodge battle off. So then quickly you have to pick up the foam dice and throw them at each other, literally. That was great fun. Also, Shape Invaders. This was a really interesting one. And I played it. It felt quite similar to a game that I'd played before, Four Elements by Rob Koonsman. Now, I discovered a few days afterwards that it was licensed from Rob, which was an absolute delight because it was different enough that I would have been kind of okay with it, but a bit, oh, it's a shame. But apparently, what happened was that Rob showed it to another company. Then Gavin, who used to work for that company, after the company rejected it and had their chance, Gavin said, "Hey, they rejected it, but I would like to work with you. How about it?" And now it's got this lovely Space Invaders esque theme, and it's fantastic. Um, Again, having quick conversations with people, being taught this game, which the person running it, I think because of English being a second language, they were struggling with explaining the rules. Um, I loved the look of people's stands and being like, wow, what's going on? This is exciting. And of course, Cora Quest, fantastic game that I've played on stream. And thank you to Cora Quest for being such lovely people. Helvetic, I enjoyed her pun. Um, Had is a wonderful person, and I hope to work with Helvetic one day. I also hope to work with Blue Orange. Showing off Next Station London by Matthew Dunstan, a wonderful game available on Board Game Arena or Amigo Spiel. This was interesting, actually. Can I just say, when if you wanted to go in and play their games, you had to go in through a certain entrance, and then they had tickets so that didn't have too many people in their space, and it was literally walled off with this low barrier that you could see. So if you wanted to go in, you went in, and then you could spend as much time as you wanted, and then you could play through all their games, and someone there would teach you the games as you wanted, and It was a weird system, I'm not gonna lie, but I guess it works for them. Words are literally cordoning off their area to make sure it never feels crowded. I mean, I would love to talk with someone who works there about the advantages and why they instigated this particular system, because it's most stands you just kind of wander in and out freely. I mean, Hachette, you just kind of wander in and it's, oh, that's interesting. Let me start playing this. This was, by the way, before it was open, which is why there's all this plastic up. But you just wander through, and if you tried seeing things, it was cool. And hello, Nicholas. It was lovely meeting you in person, although we didn't get too much chance to chat. And hopefully one day we'll get to play a game together. And yeah, congratulations on, can't remember where you work now, but yeah, there was so much going on. I'm really sorry. Um, but yeah, I hope that everything was fantastic. And yes, I hope that you had a good spiel as well. Thank you for popping in, Nicholas. Um, my Wednesday food, this was in the evening. Not gonna lie, slightly disappointed. I think that next time I would either go for their duck, which was really good, or maybe go for the Chinese that was on the streets rather than in the station, or go for the cheap, relatively cheap noodles for 4.50 rather than this, which was, in my opinion, a little bit overpriced, although the crispy onions were good. Um, and during the day, had bought a few baked goods for breakfast slash lunch, bits of bread with cheese on them, and this bit of bread with, I don't know what kind of meat it is. I think it was pork and also cheese. And it was a lovely, fantastic day. Um, Thursday started off with me saying, okay, I've got a meeting at 9. I thought I had a meeting at 9, but it turns out because of time zones, it was actually at 10. Hey, great time. So I got to wander around with Kathleen, met Jeffrey Allers, although we didn't get a chance to actually chat. Theo Riviere. Again, we didn't get much chance to chat, but it's lovely to see them. Check out that amazing waistcoat. They're doing well with that. Their sartorial standards are impressive. And Eric Martin. And there's Russ, and also the other Russ. I played a few games that was demonstrated by Hadi. I enjoy playing these because not only is it a good game that I actually enjoy, but also I love playing new games. And honestly, I would love to have played all the games at Essen, but also it gives me a sense of what the company's after. So I'm like, okay, this is presumably more of the kind of thing you want. Just Wild, it requires a bit of arithmetic. You're playing, each card has two sections on it, both with the same number. So you might have number 1, 7, 5, 0, whatever. And you've got to place numbers that are the sum of the two numbers underneath, if that makes sense. So if there was a number 5 card and a number 3 card placed on two separate areas, then you could place a number 8 card on top. If you can't do that, then you can place something face down and draw another card. You also have the option of going over 10. Play one card face down and place one card face up on top. So there was a little bit of drafting, there was a little bit of planning. It's a very mathsy game for such a light thing. It was interesting. There's not much theme to come through, but there's a little bit of description of the animals involved. And this was a new chain that are doing with recyclable. It's not just about the cardboard and the paper that they're using, but also the inks, making sure that everything has zero impact on the environment, which is amazing. And I love that so much. Um, yeah, I was told by Hadi that if this works out well, and depending on how the logistics go, they are planning to then take this to their other lines, which is fantastic. I also played one round of Oh My Ring, which is about doing this with your ring. So you to get from the thumb to this ring, you'd have to like firstly do it that way and then that way. So it's got that little bit of, okay, how do you do these things? But also you've got to keep the rings on these fingers, and it's a bit of dexterity. The first person to do it exactly like the picture shows, so you can see how my fingers are kind of like the picture, it wins that card. And fantastic. Also played this totally abstract game. I was so good that I then played it again with Xate. It's about placing these pieces on top of other pieces to make an ever-growing pyramid. You can only place a piece if it matches at least one of the pieces underneath. But the beige ones are wild cards, which is why you see them randomly in the middle. If you cannot place, then you lose the game. You also get some limited options to skip, and also if you ever place on top of two pieces of the same color, that's a slight penalty, and your opponent gets to take one. There's a final twist where there's a bit of a programming element, and you place your own little pyramid to start off with. There we go, that's the setup. Your own little pyramid to start off with. So I have to play the red as my first turn, and then I have to play the black or the yellow, and I can only play the blue once I've played both the black and the yellow. Here I placed all my special things on the bottom. Didn't realize that the game was probably not going to go that long. Really, if you want an early strategic tip, place your special things on the sides, because then they'll be easier to access, and also maybe not right on the bottom. As you can see, my opponent, Hadi, who has played this game before, has them not quite on the bottom and managed to beat me by quite a bit. A super lovely game. And yes, Lookout Spiel. Lookout Spiel, I believe they... Am I right in saying that Lookout Spiel did Glasgow from Mandela Fears Gone On? And yeah, it would be lovely to try and make something in that space. I am definitely trying to ponder a lot more what I'm going to call marginally thinky, light strategic, turn-based games. And normally people assume that turn-based games are turn-based, but I think with me, you can't make that assumption. So yeah, non-dexterity, non-party, turn-based games is something that I'm planning to do more of in the future. Nicholas says, yeah, I hope that we get to play a game sometime at an event. This time there wasn't too much time for each single thing, but a seemingly endless list of things to do. Hope to be able to plan out more chances to meet up with people next time. Overall, it was a really good spiel. I'm glad you had a wonderful time. What's the next thing you're going to? Will you be at UK Games Expo? No, actually, UK Games Expo, I'm too busy. I'm running an entire stand. I'm busy basically all the time. Are you going to any smaller conventions like BerlinCon? BerlinCon I'm planning to go to next year. Would be lovely to have time together. BerlinCon, maybe Cannes. That might be an opportunity if you're, depending on how things are going. Or if you're at any smaller UK events where I don't actually have a stand, that would be super lovely. And also my farewell, if you are able to get to the UK, please put 22nd of October 2023 into your calendar. And that entire weekend is my goodbye party. And it's basically a small convention for 100 to 300 people, let's say. But yes, Glasgow is indeed part of the Lookout Spiel line. Zhigamic, obviously I'm biased, but Koale, I think it's another lovely game. I would be happy to play this over an entire day, getting to know it, and it felt fascinating. I mean, yes, I had a lot of business meetings. It's appropriate for me to talk about how they all went, or what I might have been told about possible developments to yogi and all that. But yes, I had business meetings with people, and that was the main reason I went to Spiel. If I had not, I would not have gone there just to play games. I would not have gone there just to stall, I would not have gone there even for both of those things. But I said to myself, if I can organize at least 3 business meetings, then that will be good. And all I'll say is that I check very quickly. I had um yeah, this is hard to double check. On the Thursday, I had 3 meetings. Friday was just the 2. Saturday was another 3, and Sunday was just the 1. Sunday was really quiet. So I had 9 meetings, which was really good for me, and I was able to, even when I think there were 2 meetings I had where none of the games were suitable, but even in those 2 meetings, they never. Oh no, wait! I had another one that I forgot about. So yeah, I had 10 meetings, but even in the 2 meetings that um nothing was suitable, I definitely got a chance to better understand the company, and fingers crossed, I will be able to make something before January for both those companies, and see how I get on. Um, Nicholas, yes, absolutely. If everyone can make it to my leaving do, it will be my last um, small thing in the UK. So it would be lovely to have you. I mean, back to things that I enjoyed as a punter. I love Habba. Honestly, most of the games I'm not going to buy, but if you ever have a Habba game that I've not already played, I will happily sit down and play it with you 100%. Now, they got out these logic puzzles, which I wasn't familiar with. I didn't know that they did them. It goes up to 50, and even number 7, it took me like maybe 10, 30 seconds of pondering. For a small child, I think this was perfectly pitched. Once it gets up into the 30s, it's like I jumped like 30 ahead and was, oh, actually, this is slightly tricky. And I think this would be perfect for a day when I'm feeling brain dead. I think I could have played this when I was impaired with COVID. And the logic puzzles that I actually had back when I had COVID last year for Christmas, that was my Christmas gift. That's a weird thing to say. And I couldn't go and see my parents. I didn't have the energy to play any games like physically, like solo games, solo puzzles, or read any books. All I had energy for was to play films and to play games and not really understand them on Board Game Arena. But if I had something like this, I would have absolutely enjoyed that. And also, I think this is a lovely thing for a small child. This one, I'm not super convinced by this. I do feel like um, if you, I can't remember when it was that I got into slidey puzzles, but I feel like this one, it didn't feel like level 50 was super different from the first few levels. And so that feels, it felt okay. It felt nicely done. Um, this one was really interesting. So this is not so much a logic puzzle as an observation thing. So you need to look, hey, where is this element? And not only do you look in the background, but you also look on the sides of these panels. So it's like, hey, where's this object? Where's this object? This person wants to go with this. This person wants to go with this. Make sure that you're looking at all these different things. And it's almost like those, there's a lot of video games where you're just trying to find things and hidden objects, but this is the first time that I've seen it done well. I guess Micro Macro sort of plays in a similar space, but here you've with the 3D aspect, it really takes it up a notch. Another Haba game, How Veg, where you're literally hitting the side of the box and trying to make gems fall down, hoping that your gems match the objectives that you're going for. Post Taube. I apologize for my terrible German. This is a completely random game, and I think it's a lovely game for people who are just learning to do simple addition. If your children are just learning how to add and they don't, then I would encourage you giving this a go. If they miss something, you can say, "Oh, wait a minute, you missed something," and then you can feel, "Well, at least I got that." Um, and yeah, that was fun. Tina says, "Did you cover the game we played yet?" No, I'm not covering that today. I'm just doing up to the end of Friday. And I believe we played our game on Saturday? I can't remember. Was it Sunday or Saturday? Um, and but yes, it was lovely to see you. And yeah, that was the first time that we'd met. I already shared all the photos of us together from the Wednesday. And Yoda says, Wo ist Wanda? If you see her, you have Wanda vision. I like that. Um, yeah, I met Xate. Xate, lovely person, moderator of the channel, and also community manager of Board Game Arena. We played Crossroads together. Xate beat me by a massive amount. I slightly misunderstood the rules to start off with, and then I misunderstood the ramifications. So basically, Xate outplayed me, and I conceded at this point where the game was about one third done. I think there was basically no chance for me to catch up. You're trying to make extended strings of your own thing, and you can see that my thing is basically closed, and yeah. I thought the game played totally differently to how it actually plays. Maybe I should make the game that I thought I was playing, because I kind of want to play the game that I thought I was playing at the start. Because, yeah, there was one word in the manual which, yeah, was. I'm blaming the instructions. Yes, do it. Are you saying I should make. Is that. Yes, do it to make the game? Um, how do you know the game in my mind? um, but yeah, so the confusion in my mind was that here, what you're actually counting is one contiguous stream of things, whereas I thought that you were only counting closed loops. So I thought that once something is a closed loop, then you count for all the things. And now I'm wondering if Tantrix is actually already basically that game. But Dina says, I had a look at the instructions on that game as well. And it was a lovely thing to play. And yeah, Xate being outside. I met Anna from Budget Spelling and Dean and lovely people. I'm going to say that this courtyard, I don't think it's something that everyone knows about because you kind of have to go in through a slightly hidden door, but then you get a place to um, eat your food outside. Maisie came over just to say hello very quickly on their way to an event, so it's always nice to see them. And there's Micah Bedgie and Dean Morris. And here's the Meads. And yes, Yoda is also from Budget Spelling. Yeah, but isn't Sana the main person and you're kind of technically just a writer? But FG1, FG2, I don't know what you mean, Dina. Sorry for my confusion. But back to the things that matter. The mead. Oh my gosh, this mead. I don't know how many there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think there were about 12. So I tried all of them, and then I asked about the discounts, and it was very clear. I like this. All the bottles of mead are €9, simple price, and if you buy 6, it's not 54. You get a small discount. It's 49. I like that. I like knowing the prices. That is a big tick in this place's favor. I think that's the reason why on Sunday this place had completely sold out. I'll get to that. But I was like, okay, that's brilliant. Okay, I'm going to buy 6. Okay, I'll buy that and that. Okay, let me taste everything a second time. And I tasted everything a second time, picked out 6, and I'm probably going to have a open all my bottles, including my other bottles that I'll get to on another day, for a special post-Essen drinking party. Yeah, it was fantastic. I love the mead. Um, this is Color My Critters by, oh, I'm sorry, Jurge. Jurge, lovely person, also made Green Box of Games, which is a game system, but it's actually more of an attempt at a board game type thing, like the Peace Pack, rather than, just a card game. And so I think it's really cool. And Color My Critters is a new game. It's a deck building thing. It's, I would say, my first deck builder. It's super cute. I think anyone could play it as long as you can count up to 6. If you can count up to 6, you can play this game. And if you can distinguish between cyan, magenta, and yellow, you don't have to be able to name the colors, you just have to be able to tell the difference. And so you've got 3 resources, let me go back. You've got 3 resources rather than just the one, and that adds the complexity, but in a very approachable way. At the end, each critter in each of these 3 resources only scores if you've got a paintbrush and potentially a easel. At the end, for final scoring, you do have to count up to numbers that might be too high for a 5-year-old. Like you might have to count up to 20 or 30 and do a bit of multiplication, but that's only at the final scoring. So at that point, an adult could help. And I think this was a really lovely game. Honestly, highly recommended. Again, an empty courtyard. How few people are there? Look at it. So few people. Honestly, also, the meta, I think they should have more tables outside. I understand they need to have space for trucks and stuff, but they could definitely have more tables. Ship Quest, I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit off-putting, wandering around, waving to Nigel, and Nigel's just on their phone, they don't even see me. But that's the way it is. Some people have the energy to always be on. Some people, yeah, they had a lot of video games. I have a ridiculous collection of SNES games. I've got like so many SNES games. Yes. The Secret Halls of Spiel, says Dina. FG1, FG2. I'm still not getting it. Sorry, Dina. I'm a bit confused by your comment. I am going to do FG4. I'm really, really confused. What do you mean, FG? Turn around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit closer. They named the secret halls. Really? What? You mean the little courtyard areas? I thought there was only one secret area, the courtyard where you sort of go to eat. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. There you go, inside knowledge. Thank you for explaining. Let me. So, yes, Thursday, 2 p.m. event. It was lovely. And I feel like I forgot to take a selfie with Wendy, which was a shame. What was it? So it was a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after some mixed noises. It was definitely fun. I think that people had fun. And on that bit of the paper, you can see a game of by Wendy versus Wendy's friend, who I forgot the name of. I'm sorry. But then I carried on demonstrating a few other games. Here's Categorical. And at the end, how can I make this bigger? Here we go. At the end, this is a die. I don't know if my video is not the best one, but there's a little eyeball inside, and the eyeball is actually rotating, so it's kind of suspended inside in the perspex. It was like really exciting. Is that all the photos I've got? I thought I had Um, huh. I think I'm missing some pictures. I think I'm never put up pictures of Sal Sharf and Richard Garfield's new game on Würfelspiel, which I also played. At the end of the day. Yes. I might have missed some stuff. Anyway, let's go forward to Friday. And Tina says, the code names made it easier to meet up with people outside, just letting them know which tunnel or courtyard they're at. Oh, it's the tunnels also. Leaf says, was so much fun to hear my gaming buddy, oh, Yost, making weird sounds. I normally only see him play difficult games. Happy to be able to provide that. Friday, I travelled in with Alan and Charlie, and this was a really nice bakery. This was the Doobie, Doobie. I don't know. This was okay. I will say that the Goldsmith was a bit disappointing, and the one with the kind of plums on the top that stuck to the wrapper a bit too much. I wouldn't have them again. This was okay. It was fine. But the one that was really good was the toffee apple. I would definitely have that one again. Next year, I'll definitely have it again. Or maybe if I go to Berlin and yeah. Going in by car, you get to see the underground and all these secret halls and going in, meeting the lovely cat from I Play Red, and then early in the morning, this is actually where one of my meetings got arranged, which was fantastic. I guess I'm a talkative person. If it's just me and one other exhibitor, I would absolutely go. Dina says, I didn't try any of the food inside the mesa. I didn't buy any of the food inside the mesa. That's a bakery which was, yeah, it was in Essen. It wasn't anywhere near the mesa. It was like maybe 10 minutes walk away, 3 minutes away by car. Just for clarification. Um, while I was waiting to chat to about Hasbro stuff, I played this, which is kind of like foosball, but shooting hoops. It was definitely interesting. There's this, which was kind of like tangrams, but you're making Celtic knots. Really nice, and then had a whole series of puzzles. Yes, I played these two games by I forgot the name of the company, but A Fistful of Penguins was a fine game. You're rolling dice, and each of the animals has a different way to score. So, yeah, the kangaroos score in like you square the numbers. So, if you've got 6 of them, you would score 36 points, which is a large part of how I won the game. Lions are good at scoring, but you either score the lions or you score other animals. Penguins give you more penguins. Penguins allow you to re-roll. Penguins allow you to also get more dice. Camels are good, but then you can't score lions. And mooses, it's only good with squirrels because it's Rocky, and Bullwinkle is an American TV show, and it's the reference to that. It was fine. I kind of enjoyed it enough that I tried our other game, Buccaneer Bones, and this was surprisingly cheap at €5. I mean, this was the only game I actually paid money for, but I don't normally enjoy dice rolling, but I know that Chris, my friend, is sometimes like, well, let's play a game that's just about rolling dice. And it's relatively simple. You're trying to roll a double to get your ship to move along 1. A triple can get it to move along 2. Once it's at the bottom, a triple will get it to plunder the treasure and go all the way back. Do it 3 times and you win the game. But if you leave your ship at the bottom, you can get bonuses, for example, extra dice, plus minus things, or an additional reroll. And there was just enough strategy that I thought, yeah, you know what? It's okay. It's like, and I could imagine playing this when drunk, when tired, when playing with people who don't like to make too many decisions in games. Um, and we've got this where people were playing speed chess. They had, I think they called it Ultra Blitz. It was a maximum of 2 minutes. They had 1 minute per person, and they played hundreds and hundreds of games. This was Friday. On Saturday and Sunday, the commentator came along and was commentating all the way. I think the commentator didn't have as much energy as I think they could have had, but it was really good watching this. And the players themselves had to have incredible energy. And of course, playing like 2 minute games of chess, you know it's only going to last a couple of minutes. And so you enjoy watching this. And there was definitely a crowd because it was an absolute spectacle. Let's carry on until the end. And then sometimes it got to the end, I didn't even properly understand who had won. I'm going to admit. Yeah, that's playing. Yeah, did you see games of my games? I mean, I was almost thinking like if I had, yeah, like, to some degree, my games kind of already are a spectacle to watch. And like that's the nice thing about the 2 p.m. events that they bring people in, and then like especially at UK Games Expo when I actually get like 12 people, there's all sorts of folk, and yeah, it's almost a dexterity game for them. I don't understand who won. I don't know if you do, but yeah. So as you can see, there was a crowd, and it does make me think: could I have a crowd? Could I do something to commentate? Could I have a proper, PA system? And because those finals are the bits where it's like, okay, here's the top two people. Now we're really going to get everything going. I met Candice, who has from Board Game Geek, who has just the most amazing energy. And then I met them again in the evening, and it was lovely to see them. Lunch. Again, this is a continuation from the bakery that I visited before the Essen Spiel opened. And here, this is the best baked thing. Apple toffee. It has a tiny bit of crunch and a bit of gooiness in the center. Oh, I almost wish that I'd brought one home. I might actually, if anyone asks, I will show you the food that I brought home because I've got a bag full of food and I'm probably going to eat a good chunk of it today. Continuing Friday, Fractal Juegos. They've got Tori Tori, all about the endangered species. And I love the look of this. It's kind of inspired by comic book art, and I think I love the fact that their stuff looks different to most games, but it's still super polished. It's nice, it's expressive, and here's one game from Knizia where the pink on all of the cards, that's a pink that you can't actually achieve through normal CMYK processes, and it's disgusting things like fly-infested bread and like rotting teeth and wormy apples and cheesy feet and yeah, bits of people, but it doesn't look. I mean, if you think about it, it is super disgusting, but they still somehow make it pretty. Is that not amazing? And the people, Friedman Fries, who remembered who I was, I guess they're like, yeah, that person's red. Damn them. Also, I swapped games with Friedman Fries a few years ago, which was exciting. That yay, Friedman Fries thinks that it's worth swapping for my games. That was lovely to see. And Bodhi, it was lovely to see this person that I'd only met online. And I'm just going to say, like, Friedman, we actually had about 3-4 minutes for a chat, whilst I think at this point I was sort of waiting for someone else, the person before me, to finish demonstrating on the Norwegian publisher table so I could have a go. And I'm so glad that I wasn't playing because that meant that because I wasn't doing demos at that moment, we could have like a quick chat about 504 and reissuing games and like personal objectives and everything. Bodhi, lovely person, been on the show before, and Brota de Juegos, who made Winter, and congratulations to them, who have this, yeah. Friedman and Bez make a nice holiday pattern, says Yoda. Yeah, we could have Friedman Bez. Yeah, someone should do like a JPEG, like a long banner, like just alternating red, green, red, green, red, green. That would be cool. And I like to think that I got Friedman Freeze to up their game because when I first met them, they weren't wearing as much green as they are these days. Because I first met them in 2016 and I was wearing way more red than they were wearing green. I'm just going to put it out there. And since then, I think they've seen me and they've upped their game. um, yeah. So Friday, 2 p.m. event, it went well, and there was like Grisha who came specific for it, and I, as usual, got to talk a few people. Hey, 2 p.m. This is a place to be. Go on, join us, and it was lovely playing with everyone. And the buzz continued for a while. They were like, "Oh, now that it's over, would you like me to show you some other games for the deck?" And everyone had so much fun, and then there was a constant stream of people. I went to the other mead stands where there was about 20 odd bottles. I tried them all, and I tried a few of them a second time. I didn't try all of them a second time. But from here, I bought, I want to say, 8 bottles, one of which was a present, which I gave away straight away, and the other 7 also I've brought back. So I've got 13 bottles of mead. I will talk about that maybe on Saturday for part 3 of this Essen debrief. I got to have wait, there we go. I've just noticed that I've not actually shown the picture, but there's Dan on the left and James on the right. The writer, editor, and graphics person of Senate magazine. And I had a meeting with Xates where we were talking about Board Game Arena stuff and how things are going, and also got the chance to show this game off. So mushrooms were delicious. It was decent crowds, as you can see. It's not like overwhelming. I feel like this year it felt like definitely fewer people than 2019. I think that the crowds were always, I never felt, oh my gosh, I can't get even from this corridor to the other corridor. It might have been moving slower than I wanted, but I could always move. Yellow had this cool wall where you can sort of do whatever you want, and people did all sorts of art. It was lovely to see that there was nothing horrid. And then I did notice that they had some big stickers. I think the stickers presumably they might have had extra stickers just as a backup plan in case someone did do something rude, because that's always a chance. But board gamers, they're good people, and also I think because it's in a public place, people wouldn't want to do, something vulgar. Dina says the official numbers were 147,000, including crew and exhibitors. I was told we were looking at 200,000. And compared with 2021, I believe 2021 was 96, something like that, and 2019 was 219, something like that. So, yeah, so it's definitely a big improvement compared to last year, but a lot less than it was before. But I reckon that, yeah, I reckon 2023 will be probably similar to 2019. But maybe we'll see how it grows. I'm excited. Now, in the evening of Friday, that was the one night that I didn't have anything with other designers or publishers or anything like that sorted out. And so Friday, I walked over back to the hotel, wandered around, and I gazed longingly, hoping they would invite me to play. And it did take maybe a bit of a hint, And they were like, oh, I didn't want to ask. And then it might have been a strong hint. But yeah, I did get invited to sit down with my friends from Glasgow and play this. I can't remember the name in German, but it's basically called Wandering Tower, where it's a card playing, very random, very chaotic race game. The tower starts off dotted around the board with I think it's called Crow Tower, or it's Falcon. The black one moves around the board massively. Every time someone ends up in it, the black tower is the finish line. If someone goes in there, it goes like 4 spaces along. So if someone went into the black tower right now, it would jump along to the first free blue symbol. So then green, who's just before it and is currently really far away, would suddenly be really close. And so as you can see, the game's really chaotic, but it's even more chaotic than that, because people on top of the towers can get trapped by the other towers going on to it. And then the other towers go onto the towers, and then you have a little bit of a memory aspect of how can you get your towers on. I'm going to personally say that I think the whole playing the cards outside of your turn anytime, I'm not sure about that. That basically meant that you didn't want to play cards for yourself. You didn't want to do clever things because you didn't want to go into the lead, because then people could hurt you. And I think it would have been better if you'd only play your special spells, because you've also got these spells in the middle. Only play them during your own turn, and I think it would have been a slightly better game. And it says in the instructions, oh, choose any number that you want, choose them randomly. I don't think that's the way for an ideal game. I think it should have said, hey, here's the starting thing, which it does, but then say here, if you want something more strategic, here's a more strategic variant, here's a chaotic variant. Like One Night Ultimate Werewolf does a great job of this, and it has some suggested setups. And yes, sure, there's the starting one, but there's also, hey, gives this feel, this gives this feel, because sure, you can do it yourself, but there's a lot of, how can I put this? There's a lot of kind of design awareness, and you can't expect people who are playing the games to always understand the games as well as you do. You should be the one who understands the game better. You should at least give them some more than just the one starting point. And that slightly bothers me. I'm not going to lie. I would happily play it again, but only if, now that I know the game, I was able to pick a bunch of things that I feel work well together. Other than that slight gripe, I would absolutely, I would recommend this. It's very pleasant, very chaotic, and I kind of wish it had had a little bit more. Oh, yeah. No, this isn't a review. It was nice. I enjoyed playing it. I would not play it again with the same rules. I would play it again with slightly different rules, and I don't like that they didn't give you enough guidance on which rules to choose from. Having said all that, this was Ready Set Bet. We played it with 7. It was absolutely chaotic. Dina says, very cute meatballs though. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It was lovely. And are they cute meatballs? Let me remember. Yeah, they are cute meatballs. You're right. They're kind of wizardy. And I do like the overall design. I just feel like the development could have been. Sorry, I'm not going to say any more. Ready, set, bet. I wouldn't play this with the minimum player count. I'm not sure I would play it with 5, but with 6, I would definitely give it a go. With 7, I absolutely adored it. I think if you're slightly tired, if you've got a few people who are able to get into it and give a bit of commentary, it'll work really well. One person's hopefully doing some commentary, rolling the dice, shouting the numbers, and you could just shout the numbers, but ideally you'll say something like 8's bringing up the lead, and now 8 makes a sudden comeback, and it's coming. Is 7 going to come back? Is what's in the lead? Oh my gosh! And so Ready, Set, Bet from AEG, it's all about the chaos of someone rolling these dice, the horse move along, everyone else is trying to place as quickly as they can, because once you place in one of these spaces, no one else can, and if someone else has, then you can't. And it worked brilliantly for 7 players. The same going on? Would there be the same frantic chaos? I don't think so. But again, it's a lovely game night game. I think that I could imagine if you've often got exuberant people, if you often have groups of 6, 7, or 8, I would recommend this. And that brings me to the end of my Friday. Yeah, I didn't have time to upload all of my pictures, and I will go through some stuff tomorrow with Jess. And yeah, does anyone want to see the food I brought back? Dina says, I stumbled into the Podfather gathering on Sunday. Yeah, I missed that, sadly, and ended up staying for a couple of hours while we made a small game together. Awesome. That sounds fantastic. I remember you looking for somewhere to be with. I ended up going with a sort of small group of invited people, and we played games until like 2 a.m. and then getting up at silly o'clock. Actually, no one's asked for this, but I am going to show you the food. So, on the way, I bought grills. Grills. Gerucht Fume flavor. I don't know what this means. Maybe Yoda can tell me. The Netherlandish says, Brengs vier in Gilheid. I'm saying it completely wrong. Yeah. So yes, that is something I bought on the way up. Then I got this as a special present from Studio H. Look at that. The marketing person made shortbread and also some sweets. But is that not the cutest thing? That's something I would expect from Xate, but frankly no one else, and that is super cute. And I got given these crude Noten original. Thanks, Wendy. I'm not sure what they look like, gingerbread style things. I'm really excited by them. And on the way back, I bought 4 things from. So I've got paprika flavor because you can't get that in the UK. I got the minus 30% because it's best before Friday, and it's milk dessert 58, actual Belgian chocolate from Belgium. Wendy says it's a bit like gingerbread drops. I'm excited to try that. Dina says paprika flavors are the best. Also from the gas station, to use up my money, I got this thing. I don't know what this baked good is, but it looks exciting, and I think this is also it's got definitely French and definitely German and possibly Netherlandish. It says Ingrediënten Suiker ter Wilbloem Planterde. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a frangipane. I'm sorry for my terrible language, but yeah, I'm really quite excited to try that. And the other thing I bought on the way back was this, purely because it was exactly the amount of coins that I had left. So I have some notes that I'm probably going to change back into British money. But I've got this. It doesn't look that exciting, I'm going to be honest, but it looks like chocolate digestives. Chocolate lit milk chocolade. Yeah, I think it's just biscuits with chocolates on them. And that is apparently Flemish. Frangipane. Thank you for letting me know. Paprika is the most popular flavour in the Netherlands. Paprika does taste different in every country, even with the Lay's packaging looking the same. It does say NL, so it's definitely Netherlandish. So there we go. And the final thing, which I showed at the start of the stream, which I got on the way up, and I just opened just now, is, let me show you, Biffy Karazza. And that package makes it look quite exciting, although I should have seen, yeah, there's an awful lot of pastry. So, shall I tell you about the taste of this thing? Let me try and do this. So this is, it has a little bit of meat. It's definitely a very long life thing, so I don't expect it to taste particularly good. I might try putting it in the oven for a bit later and see how it is. Honestly, just tastes a bit bland. I mean, Biffy and pepperami aren't the most flavorsome things anyway. So just having like this big bit of pastry makes it even less flavorful. Yeah. And that bits of cheese on top was like super dried up. I'm going to put it in the oven this afternoon. By this afternoon, I mean like in a few minutes, because it's literally just gone 1 minute past 12. I am tempted to open up one of these things, but I feel like I should also properly have some food that isn't super sugary first. And so, yeah, I guess that brings me to the end of my stream. So yes, how was Essen Spiel? So it was really good. But before we finish up, sorry, now I've got bits on my teeth. Well, thank you for being here, Timmy. I really appreciate it. Even when you're just lurking, I really appreciate knowing that you're there. And so let me ask the question of the day. Question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. My question of the day is, okay, for those who were at Spiel or have been to a convention, yeah, what do you normally do on Sunday nights, and what do you normally do on Monday? Like, do you have some sorts of traditions that you do after a convention to make sure you don't feel down? Do you get what I mean? So I feel like streaming actually really helps me, because I really like people, and I couldn't find anyone to hang out with me today until the evening. I mean, I'm meeting some friends, but they told me not to come by before 5 p.m. They said, yeah, we've got to work, and yeah, you can come by and hang out until we finish work, but maybe don't come until after 5, which is totally fair, because, they've got to work until 5:36. And, we do get to play games together, so I've got something to look forward to. And speaking of which, if anyone would like me to tell them about my games, it'll take me about 20 seconds to get them. So I will tell you about my games right now that I collected, if anyone asks. But my question is, like, after a convention, how do you make sure that you don't feel down? And because I love people, and I think that after UK Games Expo, I had like a mini convention. It all started with UK Games Expo 2021. I started streaming, for those who don't know, in maybe spring 2020 as a result of the pandemic. And during UK Games Expo, the first ever convention I went to, full stop, back in 2011, plus the first ever convention that ran in the UK and that I went to after the pandemic, had started, was winding down. And Johan told me I would like to stay an extra day. they so we didn't leave on Monday. We left on Tuesday. Instead, Monday we spent the day together. Johan spent a bit of time in the room doing an online role playing game. I think it was Dungeons and Dragons with their group. But we also had, I mean, Johan isn't as extroverted as I am. But I still had a bit of time in their presence, which was lovely for me. I got to wander around the airport, and that was nice. And so when it came to actually going back to UK Games Expo 2022, because it's a big thing, and I want to so I had a small party on Monday, and I said, if you're at my stand, if you're helping me, you're invited to this party. And it's like not a big deal, but yes, I have a closing meal on the Sunday night, but then on the Monday, I will be staying an extra day and we will be finding somewhere to play. And I think there were maybe 7, 8 of us who stuck around and we played games all together. And that was a lovely day. And it allowed me to kind of wind down. And similarly at Tabletop Scotland, spending a little bit of time with Jane the following day was lovely. I like to, I think, make sure that I've got some time with friends afterwards, just so I don't feel too far down. And honestly, spending this time with you and you all commenting on it has been lovely. So if you've been to a convention, what's your after convention routine? And if you've never been to a convention, what do you think might be your routine? Timmy says, I've never been to a convention, but I might try to go to HalCon this year. If you do, I hope you have a wonderful time. And also I hope you find the whole thing invigorating. Dina suggests a long bath. Review your pictures and connect with the people I had meetings with. That is a really nice thing. And I've not had. This is going to sound really stinky. Yeah, I've not had a shower or a bath since I got back yesterday. But Dina says keeping music on helps a lot too. That sounds lovely. I think it's important to process the experience 100%. And I think that's why that's a good thing for me as well. Like doing these things, it helps me process the things. And, looking at all the pictures, even though I've not put up, like just uploading the pictures onto Twitter, it helps me process everything. And then I'll process the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I guess, later on. Dina mentions punching tokens with Stella for 6 hours on Monday morning in order to process. That does sound amazing indeed. And instead, I was in a car for most of the day, but then we did get to be in a restaurant, myself and Alan and Charlie, and we had a bit of a debrief, which was really nice. When I'm at a convention, at the end of every day, I like to ask people, what was something you enjoyed at the stand? What was something that was a personal highlight, like generally? What was something that you feel like we did well as Stuff by Bez? And what's a suggestion for Ben? Like, part of that is so that I can get people to give me ideas, but part of that is also the debriefing and the talking together, and I think that is really important. Okay, let me get up and jiggle and wriggle. And the other thing that I'm going to say is that, look, yeah, I will open at least one more suite. I'm not sure which one later today. I'm actually, yeah, for the Netherlands people, what does this even mean? Gerucht fume. Does that mean smoked? I think fume means smoked in French, and I think so I assume gerucht means smoked in Netherlandish, but let me know. Yeah, that might. I'll open one of them. be free. I'm internet problems. I do apologize if I'm going to- did you feel or were you just bored? Yeah, I hope that you're yeah, I mean either way, I hope you had a great time. But of course, now today, what are we up to? I mean, some of us were there, some of us were not there, but what are you up to now? Over to you. What are you up to? You can share what's if you want to. I am going to just take time to be with myself. I will go through a whole bunch of business cards, sending short emails. I will um, maybe upload photos onto Twitter. I'll see Chris and McCall tonight and we'll play a bunch of games. Yeah, I might ask the internet for suggestions on which ones we should play. Or I could show you the games right now. I mean, when I say if one person asks, then I will do this, that's kind of me secretly saying, you know what, I would quite like to do this, but I just want to make sure that someone's interested. So do let me know if you want me to show you my games. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to make sure that I get outside in the relatively near future. Maybe have some sort of shower. Yeah, I don't know if I have the energy for a bath. I'll probably just put my hair up, have a quick shower, relatively quick. I mean, this will be a slow shower. I'm not going to lie, but get outside, have a bit of a wander, maybe see the ducks, enjoy life, things that are in London, and it's looking like a really sunny day. I'm excited, and I'm just going to enjoy life. I'm going to head up north in Finland to pick up my kid and plan out some Twitter threads about Spiel. And there was an unpleasant experience Thursday morning. I'm very sorry to hear that. Yeah, maybe we can let me know what happened. Was that outside the hall? Where was that? I mean, I don't want to make you recount things that you don't want to. So please, if you don't want to relive it, tell me to shut up. And yeah, either if you feel able to talk about it, then either here or privately. But I'm glad that you're okay and so much love. Um, yeah. So yeah, to recap and wrap up before we finish up. Um, yeah, to recap and wrap up. I enjoyed traveling with Alan and Charlie. They're lovely people. I probably, not gonna lie, wouldn't have gone if it wasn't for them because I would have been too nervous to take the plane or whatever. Very happy overall with the not having a stand. It meant that I could wander around and see lots of things and have great meetings. I think actually, even though I'm not saying the companies or anything, like 8 out of 10 meetings, the people took away at least one game and said, this is something new that we might publish. I mean, a maybe doesn't mean a yes, but fingers crossed, at least one of those maybes will become a yes. I enjoyed so many games. I think that I'll talk about like top tens or whatever later on once I've done it all. But I think out of the things that I showed, the yeah, honestly, the bit that I kind of missed the most is actually the bakery, like the German bakery, but also the people, just the people. I kind of wish that I'd had more time to chat to everyone and see everything. And, there's so much happening at once. Apparently, there was a full concert for Lacrimosa that I missed. But there's so much going on. It was fantastic. And Timmy says my internet's acting up. And Yes, fingers crossed for the pitches, I assume. Thank you very much for that. Bakkewerk. I did not go to Bakkewerk, so I went to what's the names of the places? I went to Dube and two other bakeries, but Bakkewerk just looked like more of a sandwichy sit down place, and it didn't look as exciting, so I didn't go there. But like all the things were good. I mean, all the baked goods. Yeah. Really, no one wants to hear about the games that I brought back. Come on, last chance to hear about the games. Um, all the places I am stuffed by Bez. Check me out. Tomorrow I'm going to be chatting with Jess Medringham. We will carry on chatting about Essen. And Thursday I'm going to be chatting with Matthew Manapache a little bit about Daybreak and the design practices as they went through that. Friday will be a quick 5-minute thing, Saturday will be a debrief, and Sunday I'll be chatting about marketing techniques with Ben Downton. I'm basically back to regular schedule. And even though I don't have anything planned, well, Monday, let's say it'll be something about the kit. I'll decide on the day. Tuesday will be me launching a new Kickstarter. So yes, check that out. And please share, spread the word. And thank you very much, everyone, for being here. They had a salami pretzel. That apparently was missing. See, now you finally ask. Okay. Give me about 20 seconds and I'm just going to get my things, getting more things, getting the last things, picking up the things. I am on the way. Here's the things. Here's all the other things. Okay, I will show you all the things, and then, yeah, Grease Lightning. This was from Kathleen Mercury. This was, had to drag it out. The suspense was exciting. Kathleen Mercury designed this game, and wait, let me get rid of that banner for a moment. Kathleen Mercury designed this game. It's a really cool game where you've got a board where you're placing new tiles on the circular board. You're going round and round, and then you can navigate from different areas, and then maybe you put down a good thing just in front of you, or maybe you put down a bad thing just in front of someone else, and you can mess up with other people because they're actually changing the track. And that is a brilliant. I'm really excited by this. I didn't get to play it on the ferry, but I'll definitely be playing it tonight. Hopefully, we'll see. Like, apparently there's someone else that I don't know there. Simulo, I'm really excited to have gotten this. So for those who don't know, Simulo is about a bunch of cards with objects on them, and then you say this stuff is similar or different to these other things because it's in a touch box. Boom. All of these are based on games that were released at Spiel 2022. So it's a whole bunch of games and pretty graphics and colors and Simulo board game. It's a cute little special edition, and it will be a lovely memory. And at some point, maybe one day I will have I don't think I'll ever have played all of these, but I'll at least have looked up the rules or something and I'll know about them. But yeah, Simulo, I'm excited to have gotten one of these. Managed to pick up one. It was basically, I saw it at the Norwegian stand, someone left it, and then I really wanted to get my own copy. Then I couldn't get my own copy because I couldn't find it, but apparently no one knew whose it was, and it had been left there for over a day, so I just took it, like, at the end of the show. So I got it. I'm really happy about that. This one I actually paid for many, many years ago when it was on Kickstarter. I never got it because I never filled out the backer kit survey or whatever they use. So yeah, it's a coin spinning thing, and I'm excited to read through the rules and maybe give it a go tonight. But yeah, similar board games, I think it's like a really niche thing. So I loved playing it with Alana and Charlie. We played it 3 times on the ferry back. Really strongly recommended. This one, I don't know. I got given these 2 games for free because someone's trying to get rid of games and I asked for them. So Kakerlak and Poker Royale is the best bluffing game ever, I think. The really interesting thing is if you get caught out telling the truth, then you still lose. So I can't just always tell the truth. Basically, I say this is a fly, and you can either say, I believe you, it's a fly, or you can say, no, I don't believe you, I think it's something else. Either way, if you're correct, then I get it as a penalty point. If you're wrong, then you get it as a penalty point. You can also pass it on to someone else, but that's, I got given Doggo Dash, a proper copy by Talita. It was lovely to finally meet them in person and go through the elbow dance, and I'm really enjoying the elbow dance as a way to maintain some social distancing. And even though some people wanted to shake hands or hug, I was really insistent from, I think, Wednesday until Monday. Basically from Tuesday until Monday, I didn't like hug or shake hands with anyone. And I know a few people, and I think that's maybe contributed to me feeling physically okay now. Anyway, so Doggo Dash, it's a really super simple, super cute, and it's, look at those rainbows. It's got a really simple party game with super lovely artwork. Check that out. Short and sweet indeed. Farben, a German game about telling stories that involve colors. So you might tell a story about your memory of something read that involves a lie. So you think, okay, is there a lie that somehow involves red? I mean, honestly, I'm trying to struggle thinking of a lie. And I can only actually now think of one story involving a lie in my life. But yeah, I could tell that story anyway. So Farben, it seems like a social experience. It's a conversational game for 3 to 5 players. I think I will enjoy playing that possibly tonight. This one I enjoyed at the stand. We played it 2 times on the ferry. Charlie wasn't keen because I think Charlie was pretty tired, but also didn't see maybe a bit too much dice rolling for that moment. And yeah, I think it's a silly thing. Honestly, if it had cost more, I wouldn't have picked it up. But I felt like, yeah, for €5, I will give this a punt. I've enjoyed it, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it at least a couple more times. I got given this lovely thing as a gift, Heartstrings. So Heartstrings is a game about, it's a romantic cards game for awkward people. That's what it says on the front. A romance cards game for awkward people. And I've not even read through the rules. I will actually, let me unbox this and see what's going on. It's super lovely. It's a super cute idea that you read out, or was told that you read out cards while staring into each other's eyes, which is meant to be challenging, but so wow, that is really packed. There we go. Ooh, wow. There's 2 random lollipops inside. Fair enough. That was, and here's there's a little poem, and it's going to go on Kickstarter soon. So this is a prototype copy. It is just a bunch of cards, and all the cards are, let's see, so it looks like it says tough, and I love exploring your mind as if it was a quest. Oh, wow. Your love is as sweet as cake, and I want to take a bite. A world wonder, you should be on the list of UNESCO. I love how our love and connection grew and progressed. And so there are other things going on. I will have to definitely read the instructions. This is the first time that I've seen them, to be honest, but it looks easy to read, and apparently it's for 2 to 6 players, so it's not just for a couple. So maybe I'll even get a chance to play this tonight. We will see. And I don't think I'll probably get to well, I definitely won't get a chance to play this because it's only for 2 people, and also it's for 60 to 90 minutes. But Fractal Juegos, they seem like super cool, and they wanted to give me a gift. So here's La Frontera, which I'm super excited to check out. It is all in Spanish, so I will have to probably print out the English instructions to understand it. But Fractal Juegos, friends of the show, because we met in London, and then they published one of David Brain's games, and now they're publishing another one. So yeah, that is that. And I am actually probably I'm now not sure I'll be able to stop myself from reading these instructions. No, you know what? I'm going to take a walk around the block, even in my pajamas, because technically, yeah, I'm just going to show you my pajama leggings. So this is what I sleep in. Leggings that are stripy red and white, but they're not normal leggings. They're kind of a bit warmer and a bit looser, let's say, than most leggings. They're pajama. Anyway, so that is my thing, and stuff that I might play tonight. I've already played that, so I'm less excited to take it, even though I know it's really good. I think I'll go into Chrism calls. I'll take the things that I've not played. I think I will take these 4 things. There we go. This is what I'm going to take to play tonight. Heartstrings, Rooster Rush, Farben, and Grease Lightning. Yeah, I mean, Kakarlak and Poker. I might say Kakarlak and Poker Royale just because it's really good, and it would be nice to introduce them to it, but yeah. So, what a great haul, says Dina. And also, it's not just about for anyone watching this, I want to remind you that, like, it's because I've been making games for such a long time, and because people know me, like, yes, there's some super generous people I've gotten to know, and people like Hilko who give me games because I ask, or people who want to know what I think of their game, or yeah, this is also that, or just friends like Kathleen Mercury, who's like, hey, here's my game. I made it. I hope you like it. I hope you get a chance to enjoy it as well. And I'm really excited to share in that. And it is super awesome that Kathleen's managed to get this printed, and it looks amazing. And so, yeah, it is obvious. For anyone who's watching, seeing a lot of haul pictures and be like, oh, I don't have much, I need to get them. It's not about the physical objects as much as it is about the people, as much as it is about the connections you made. And in all sincerity, I value the connections, the business cards, the even on a personal level, the conversations, the games I played. I value that much more than the physical objects that I took away. Even though some of the physical objects I will enjoy eating, no doubt. And yeah, thank you so much, like Wendy and just Sally and everyone for all the gifts. Dina says, I bought 1 game and was gifted 4 from my roommates for helping them out. That's super lovely. But yes, it's, yeah, lovely to chat to you. And thank you for being here. At this point, once more, thank you everyone. And really, there's nothing more left to say. At least not for tomorrow. Lots of love. And thank you. And yes. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye. Bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye. Bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye. Bye bye. Essen was lovely to be at. Bye bye. Bye bye. I am not a meerkat. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye. Bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. Bye bye. Bye. Bye bye.